Hello everyone, Mr. Shea here. Just gonna start maybe a little mini series about online learning because I think we all need it. And one thing that's been the hot topic today has been office hours. And what does that look like? What tools are available to us? What makes sense for your teaching style and your availability? So we're gonna talk about a couple of those things today. I'll try to keep it brief, but we're gonna go over just a couple tools that we here at Vernon have at our disposal. All right, so let's talk Schoology first and kind of just office hours in general. One thing that I've heard from teachers and administrators is that suddenly your workday is this amorphous blob that people just expect everyone to be connected 24/7 now that they can't see you. Really, teachers' days are long anyways and go past the regular school day. But one thing that I wanted to share is that you might want to kind of lay down some parameters and make it really clear to students slash parents and say, here is my workday, here's when I'll be available, to try to give some parameters. And so I gave an example here. Here's my Mr. Shea's Chromebuster course, and I laid down some parameters, just kind of show what that might look like. So I might say, hey, I'm available 9 to 5. Maybe you say I'm available 7 to 2. Whatever your work hours may look like. And that could be hard right now because some of you have kids, and so your workday might be 2 hours here, 2 hours there at night. Like you might have really weird work hours right now. So I would just define that to people and say, listen, here's my day. I'm going to be available 9 to 5. I'm taking a lunch. I'm going for a walk. Here's my office hours. Like I would set those parameters so people understand when you're available and don't think, well, it's 10 at night. Why wasn't this teacher available? That's not realistic. And so if you lay that groundwork and say, listen, here's the expectation. Here's when I'm going to have my assignment posted. Like lay all that out so there's no guesswork. No guesswork for the students, no guesswork for the parents. I think it's perfectly fair to lay out your workday and say, here, this is what it looks like for me. So in Schoology, again, I'm inside my Chromebuster course right now. One option is to use conferences. I know some of you have started playing with this. This is a really great way to do mini lessons. It records the lessons so kids that missed it can see it later that week. It is very handy. So it's just as easily as clicking conferences on the side here. You can see here I scheduled a time, but you could create a conference on the fly. It all works pretty nicely. I've heard very minimal complaints about it. There's good controls on it. The one issue in this case, if you're saying, well, hey, maybe I'll use this for office hours, is notice that the conferences are course tight. There's no way to do a conference across all 5 of your courses, so that may be a limitation. So just take that into account. So this may help you as far as doing a mini lesson for a class, but this may not help you in saying, hey, I'm going to have these open office hours that people can come to me with questions, and I will try to help them for that 1 hour that I'm free that I had set aside. So there's one for Schoology. It has some uses. This isn't real strong if you're trying to do open for all 5 of your courses at once. I wouldn't suggest that, so this might not work for you. Option number 2, and this may feel like some of you were already doing this anyways, and so maybe it makes sense to do it this way, is just using our Gmail. So you tell students, listen, I'll definitely be sitting in front of my computer for this 1 hour. If you need me, you can just Gmail me, and I will answer it very quickly because I'll just be sitting in front of my computer for that hour. That is pretty straightforward. Everyone already knows how to do that. Most of the kids know how to do that. Whether or not they know how to put in a proper subject or a signature or any of that, remains to be seen. But I'd say at least 6th through 12th grade, and maybe even 4th and 5th, the kids, are at least aware of Gmail. And if you said, hey, this is how I want to be contacted, they should be able to do that. So that may work, even for parents if they Gmail you. So you might just tell people, listen, this is nice and simple. I'm already doing this. It will be somewhat instant. Even though Gmail is really truly asynchronous. But you can always just Gmail me, and that is an option. Now, option number 2 with Google is Hangouts. We are trying this for the first time. It is new for us. Not for teacher to teacher, but we'd had it turned off for students. We turned it on today. We went back and forth with the principals, talked about some pros and cons. Um, there are definitely some cons. Just know this, that Google Hangouts are archived by our organization, just like the emails are, just like Google Docs are. So we do have some protection there, some monitoring. But this, for office hours, this can be a pretty slick tool. So if you've never played with Google Hangouts before, it is a instant messaging, almost like a text message, if you will, built within Gmail. So you'll notice down here on the bottom left, I have some chats. I have a lot of chats going on. A lot of people chat me. It's good. If you chat me and I don't answer in 60 seconds, you might want to just send an email instead. But for open office hours, if you say, hey, for this 1 hour, I'm staring at my chats. Here they are. So on the bottom left here, you'll see your Google Hangouts. If you're not seeing it, it's because this little button might not be checked. So instead, it's showing your labels or showing more about your Gmail. So if you click that, up comes your chat, your Hangouts, and you can click this plus button and begin a new conversation. Now, mine is going to look a little different because I have added the Google Hangouts extension. So now I don't have to use Google Hangouts within Gmail. I can have my browser completely closed and I will still have Hangouts open. This is my Google Hangouts, and so you can see my conversations on the left. I can create group Hangouts. I can create single Hangouts. This could be turned into a video conference, but for the most part, most people don't use it this way. And I'm not sure I would suggest it for video conferencing. There's not a lot of moderation. Teacher to teacher, it's not bad. Teacher to administrator, fine. I don't think I'd really suggest that with the students. But you can have at it. But so for just quick instant messaging, this is pretty darn handy here. So you can see that it's quick to enter a chat. It's very instantaneous. You could even get it on a cell phone if you don't want to sit in front of your computer. So in all theory, you could go for a nice walk outdoors, and when you hear that ding, you would know that someone just messaged you with a question, and you could answer that. We're going to keep a close eye on Hangouts. If for some reason we feel like it's getting out of hand, we'll turn it off again. But we think during this time while we're doing online learning, it could be a pretty key tool, and we wanted to make it available. Let's talk about Google Meets or Hangouts Meets. I don't know what they're calling it these days, but Google makes a video conferencing tool called Meet that I know some other districts are using because it is again another video conferencing tool built in. They have different levels of it. Right now, they're kind of giving it all away for free for the next 90 days until July. We decided to turn this on as well. When it comes to video conferencing, this wouldn't normally be my total first choice. I just wanted to show it while we're here. So we've enabled it. If you click on your waffle up top here, you'll see that there is a new feature, Meet. And when you click it, you'll have an option to go ahead and just start a meeting, and you can send invites and have people join that meeting. Recently, and I'm talking in the last 4 or 5 days, since online learning's really blown up countrywide, Google did an update to add some more moderation tools. Before that, it was a little bit of the Wild West of conference tools, and there was not much moderation at all. Now there's a little more moderation that if you do a Meet conference, you can now mute some of the participants, control more of what's happening. Up until a couple days ago, that wasn't necessarily true. So there are some neat features in Meet. They have closed captioning, so in real time, a transcript will pop up at the bottom of the screen. That is a pretty powerful thing that could help some of our students. And also, you can record the meeting, so that is pretty handy as well. So Meet is not terrible. I don't know if it would be my first choice in video conferencing, but it's a tool that's available and again is pretty accessible right from within our Gmail to open up the session. The one that's been really popular that we started using with some of our teachers and some of our students last week has been Zoom. You've probably heard about this a lot. A lot of people are switching to this in the country just because it is very convenient and it has way more capabilities than the conferencing tool built within Schoology. There's way more moderation tools. Who can chat, who cannot chat, who could share their webcam or not share their webcam. There's really a lot of capabilities in this. You can record the chat, you can record the video session, you can control who enters the chat room, who enters the video call. There's really a lot of features. We're even considering this potentially for IEP meetings going forward, and possibly even the Board of Education meetings. So Zoom is a very interesting tool. You can go and sign up for that now if you want at zoom.us and give it a try. I think the high school is actually doing a faculty meeting today via Zoom, and so we'll see how that goes for them. But this is again a really interesting tool. You can pre-schedule meetings. You can make meetings on the fly. People, if they don't have access to a computer, can call into the meeting via a phone and a conference ID number. So this is very similar to like a GoToMeeting, WebEx, Skype. A lot of those different tools for video conferencing. But this is a very popular one because it has very good moderation tools for teachers. So it's pretty good stuff. So there you have it. A couple really good tools to try out. Just Gmail, using Google Hangouts, Google Meets, Zoom, Schoology conferences. That should be, plenty of tools to get started with. There is more out there, but I don't want to inundate you all. So hopefully there's a little bit for you all to take in consideration there. If you need help, we'll keep making training videos and we'll share some other resources. But office hours should be an easy thing to do. So just make sure, again, take care of yourself, set some parameters so people know what the expectations are, and what your workday looks like, as it definitely looks different now than it did just a couple weeks ago. So take care of yourselves, and we'll be in touch.